Hello teachers, good afternoon. This is teacher Seppi. I'm just going to talk about the chemical basis of life. As I discussed earlier, I have this atoms and molecules, and these atoms and molecules are important in life processes. And so I have here some of these atoms and molecules. Okay, so the chemical basis of life, as we all know, hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur are the most important elements in all biological processes. Okay, so remember those elements. Now we have here atoms, and what are those atoms? Usually, atoms are composed of these three components, and there's like electrons, which is negatively charged particle, a subatomic particle, and we have here protons, which is positively charged, and neutrons, the uncharged particle. Okay, and the two of this, the protons and neutrons, are found in the nucleus of the cell, and electrons is found outside of the nucleus. Okay, remember that. And we have here what we call ions. These ions are actually those things that combines with the charged atom. So we have this an ion. An ion, when we say an ion, that is what's that? An ion that is actually negatively charged, and they gain. When we say negatively charged, they gain electrons. Whereas the cation is positively charged, and they lose electrons. Okay, they lose or transfer electrons. Okay. And we have there also what we call compound. When I say compound, that is combination of two or more elements. Like for example, glucose. Glucose is C6H12O6. Okay, so this is an example of compound made up of three elements. Okay, glucose. Next, we have chemical bonds. Example of the three chemical bonds that we have. Ionic bonds. When I say ionic bonds, this is like transfer of electron. Okay, like for example, magnesium oxide. This is a bond between metal and non-metal. Magnesium is a metal and oxygen is a non-metal, so it's a bond between that. Magnesium is actually transferring the electrons, some of its electrons to oxygen to make it like stable. Okay. Anyway, and we have this covalent bond. We say covalent bond. This is like sharing of electrons. It's a reaction or chemical reaction present in both non-metal elements, okay, non-metallic elements, like shall we say carbon dioxide, okay, like that. This is carbon and oxygen are both non-metals, so we have there a covalent bond. Whereas the oxygen, a hydrogen bond, this is a kind of bond from few selected electronegative ions, okay. There you go. Next one, we have here molecules of life. When you say molecules of life, actually they're like macromolecules, and considered to be very important in all life processes, because without them, life must not go on in a given organism, okay, or a living thing. Okay, so we have here molecules of life. First one, carbohydrates. When I say carbohydrate, this is like composed of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Okay, and yeah, these are the three elements that compose carbon, hydrogen, and then ATE usually suggests for an oxygen. Okay. For the sake of those who haven't joined yet with my Gen Ed Group 1, I have actually discussed this one, so I have discussed this again for the science majors. Okay, anyway, next one. Carbohydrates are actually composed of, these are like the building blocks of carbohydrates are the simple sugars or the monosaccharides. Okay, sugars, they're made of sugars. And remember, not all sugars are sweet. Okay, sugars from rice and stuff like that are not sweet. Okay, monosaccharides or simple sugars, from the word mono, that's one. We have the glucose. Glucose is a dextrose. Okay, when I say dextrose, it's a blood sugar. Okay, and fructose, this is fruit sugar. That's why all ripened fruits are sweet. And galactose is a milk sugar. Okay, these are all simple sugars. And as you can see, we have here also disaccharides, and disaccharides means two or double sugars. Okay. Saccharides mean sugars anyway. And we have here maltose. Maltose is a combination of glucose, and this is actually, this sugar is present in malt. Okay, next one, sucrose is a combination between glucose and fructose. All of them have glucose, but the thing is, this one, maltose is combination of glucose and glucose, two glucose molecules. and sucrose is a combination of glucose and fructose. And actually, this is sucrose is our table sugar. Okay, the sugar that we commonly see in on the table. Next one, we have lactose, galactose, and glucose. Okay, this is a combination of two of glucose and galactose molecules, and this is present in this is the milk sugar. And we have there polysaccharides, and actually there's a very complex combination of monosaccharides or disaccharides and stuff like that. Starch is a combination of glucose, a long chain of glucose, and this is a storage of sugars by plants. Okay, you can only see starch in plants. Like for example, you can see starch on potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice, and stuff like that. Even vegetables, they have sugars in the leaves. Okay. Actually, sweet potatoes or potatoes and other root crops are actually specialized storage of plants. Okay. Next one, glycogen. If plants have the storage facility, which is we call it starch, storage of sugar. We also have the glycogen, which is the storage of the animals, of sugars by the animals. And actually, this is what called glycogen. Okay. And actually, they're just made of they're made of glucose, but the thing is the bond between two glucose molecules are different. Okay? Next one. We have here cellulose. Actually, cellulose are like the primary components of the cell wall of the plants. It make it stiff, or usually the primary purpose of that is for the protection of the plant cells. Okay, there you go. Next one, we have the lipids. Lipids are actually fats. Usually in science we equate lipids as fats, but actually fat is just one type of lipids. Okay, and the building blocks of lipids. If the building blocks of carbohydrates are sugars or simple sugars, building blocks of lipids are fatty acids. Okay, and this actually the function of fats is for the to maintain the temperature of the body, one, and then for the caution. Anyway, if you're fatter, you will not be that damaged if there's something happen. Anyway, that's it. And then we have two kinds. We have simple and compound lipids. Simple lipids are actually made up of, there are two kinds of them, saturated lipids or saturated fats, and one of them is actually saturated fats is a solid in room temperature, whereas unsaturated fats are liquid at room temperature. And remember, saturated fats are actually, like example, cholesterol, and they're coming from animal fats. Okay, whereas unsaturated fats are coming from the plants, like for example vegetable oil and stuff like that. Okay, next one, compound lipids. Actually, they are usually found in the cells, in the cell membrane. The cell membrane is composed of bilayer of phospholipids, and the phospholipids is one of the kind of compound lipids. Okay, and they're the one that controls the entrance and the exit of materials in and out of the cell, or specifically animal cell. Okay, there you go. Next one, the last one, macromolecules proteins, or our proteins. Usually proteins are what we call them bodybuilders, because their job is to repair the damaged tissues of a living organism. Okay, and one of them is enzymes. Actually, enzymes is a catalyst for to speed up or slow down a chemical reaction of metabolism that's happening in the organism. And actually, enzymes have two factors that determine their effectivity. One is temperature. When the temperature is so high, actually enzymes work well when at normal body temperature. That's why when we're sick, usually we feel so tired. It's because at that point our body temperature is very high, and that makes our enzymes saturated, okay, or denatured. I'm sorry, the word is denatured, and in that sense, our enzymes could not work well. Okay. Also, when it's too cold, our enzymes also cannot work well. Okay, so they only work well with the normal body temperature. Next one, another indicator is the pH. Okay, too much acidity or too much alkalinity won't allow the enzyme to work well. Okay, so they're always working usually in the neutral, like with the water and stuff like that. That's why water is our universal solvent. Okay, you know it. So that's it for today. I'll begin to discuss more about cells after, because I discussed earlier about the hierarchical organizations or the organization from atoms to molecules. I have discussed two. Later on, I'll be getting to discuss about cells, okay? Which is the next of this. Atoms, molecules, cells, tissues, and stuff like that, okay? There we go. Bye-bye.